Most people, particularly in the Western world, would assume that science and religion are in some situation of irreparable conflict. And yet that's not the case. The relationship between science and religion is very much more rich than that.
The discussion about human origins is very existential. It touches the nerves of many people, both religious and non-religious. But religious people have special ideas about how we humans came on the scene.
I think humans have always been interested in where they come from. Within Islamic thought, you definitely have some signaling too that there was some kind of beginning, a T0 of sorts, right? Of course, there's not much more specification than that.
Origins has always related to a whole series of questions that relate to our essential identity as humans. In Judaism, we encounter origins in a variety of ways. In the biblical text, when we read it every year in the synagogue, how can we participate in these concepts of origins in a micro as well as a macro scale?
Given the shared overlap in origins between scientists and theologians, you would think that there would be a lot of conversations happening between those groups, but there simply isn't.
The problem is not that the scientists and theologians are in conflict with one another. The problem is that they often aren't talking to each other. And when they do speak to each other, they don't understand each other's language, they don't speak the same concepts, and so they don't know how to talk to one another.
It's a classic problem in all academic disciplines that as the knowledge becomes more specialized, that the outsiders understand less and less of what is going on, and the field becomes more siloed and less able to talk to those outside.
Academic silos are the tendency to communicate only with those folks that are in your same discipline.
When scientists find themselves unable to connect their work to their faith, they tend to live into two worlds. As a believer, they talk differently, they think differently from what they do as a scientist.
When scholars of faith don't know how to incorporate science into their religion, they could either misrepresent the data or completely reject the idea that that science is conveying.
I think that the fact we have so often ended up with academic silos is that we've had a lot of training is in a silo. And so the danger is we're not aware of things that maybe a sister discipline has got a lot of expertise in, and we haven't studied that piece, and as a result we've missed something. If we're going to have deep and serious conversations and try to understand each other well, we need to build relationships. We need to build friendships.
Friendships.
Friendships are the thing that will build bridges between these academic silos. It will create the skyways where they can walk across to each other. We're not tearing down the silos, we're actually trying to maintain specialties, but learn how to talk to each other.
When we've got mutual respect, there's a much greater openness to listening to each other. We've got a greater freedom to explain why we think what we think, to genuinely mean we have a deep, serious, thoughtful conversation in a way that builds relationships for the long run.
The Abrahamic Theistic Origins Project is all about bringing the Abrahamic perspectives and people from different disciplinary backgrounds into one place. And the idea here is not necessarily to solve questions that everyone is interested in, but to see how they're engaging with lines of inquiry that all of us can learn from. We're trying to help scholars better understand their own area through ongoing friendships with those outside their own fields and faiths.
Interdisciplinary study does not need to come with compromise for any of the disciplines or academics who come to the table. Success for ATOP is getting very serious scholars around the table with the understanding that they can bring themselves fully. And those are the moments that I think we really relished when we were together.
These scholars can then offer their experiences in the project as a model for their communities, showing them how they too can create relationships with people who they might otherwise view as outsiders or adversaries.
When scholars build friendships with one another, it allows them to be a model for how that friendship can be carried to the public, and those conversations can continue. Exploring origins is a great way to build those interdisciplinary relationships because so many disciplines are already engaging that topic.
This project isn't trying to solve the issues on what is right, whether it's evolution or creationism or intelligent design. What this project is trying to do is actually to listen and to understand where these different opinions are coming from. through understanding and listening to people from a variety of different backgrounds, be it from religious or disciplinary, we're able to come to a common ground where you can say, okay, let's have a chat. Let's have a cup of coffee and see where we can agree and how and why we're disagreeing.
When everyday people learn how to have these difficult conversations with people with whom they do not share the same opinions or the same views in life, then you see people who might have been considered enemies or oppositions or the thems and the theys of the world as friends who are here to help you and help you to understand who you are and what you're doing in the world and what you think is true about the world.